crap, that's Godzilla! He's waking up! Wait, hold on. Hold up, is that pink? Who said Godzilla can turn pink? They put him on a diet? He can run now? Don't worry, we can explain. In this episode, we'll not only give possible reasons why the G-Man changed colors in the new film Godzilla Kong The New Empire, but also provide a breakdown of what else Godzilla will be able to do with this new form. But before we start, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe, or Godzilla will step on your house. Just kidding. To begin, let's address the elephant in the room and talk about why pink. For those that don't know, this is not the first time we've seen Godzilla be portrayed in a similar color palette. Going back to 1999-2000, Godzilla was featured with spiky dorsals with a purplish pink hue. Additionally, this animal featured spikier skin as well as sharp, jagged dorsal plates. These subtle purple and pink hues can also be seen if we go back in time to 1994, where we see Space Godzilla's crystallized formations contain these hues. Almost 30 years later, Godzilla will revisit this color palette in Godzilla Kong, but this isn't exactly why the G-Man is pink here. Now, before we begin to dish out theories, we'll drop a disclaimer here and state that the material mentioned in this episode is pure speculation, and should not be considered canon to the Monsterverse unless proven true after GxK is released. The best clues we have as to why Godzilla turned pink can be found here. You can't miss it. Pink hues embedded in the ice can be clearly seen as Godzilla is frozen in the ice, evolving into a more powerful form. As per IGN's article released before the trailer, this pink coloration, or better described as magenta-hued energy, is something that is not newly introduced in this film. Yes, we see a vast amount of pink-colored crystals in Hollow Earth caves, and we were introduced to plenty of pink-colored crystal structures in the trailer, but if we go back in time to the events of Godzilla vs. Kong, we'll notice an interesting detail. In this clip where Nathan Lind and company breached the Hollow Earth's veil leading into the Vile Vortex, we witnessed all sorts of coloration appear on the windshields of the Heaves. These were most likely some visual of magnetic or energetic currents that were quickly bypassed by the Hollow Earth exploration craft. This phenomenon also occurred in Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. And what do we see here? Pink, indicating that this coloration, along with the blue color signature, could be one of the several energy forms found down here. Keep in mind that this is science fiction, so not everything will align with the actual science. However, an interesting takeaway from this is that the color signatures or hues seen so far displayed by Hollow Earth phenomena closely resemble that of auroras. What are these? These are light displays that happen as a result of disturbances to the Earth's magnetosphere caused by solar wind, which happens to be highly radioactive. And one of the colors that is seen in an aurora spectrum happens to be pink, in addition to a few shades of blue, yellow, and orange, all which we've seen in legendary Godzilla. Other colors, such as the light greens, are also reflected in some of the Hollow Earth's crystals. How does all of this tie in together? Godzilla here could just be simply absorbing one of these forms of energy that already existed in the Hollow Earth, one which is presumed to be a more powerful energy source. As a result, the G-Man's dorsal plates, which are responsible for expelling and storing this energy, will now reflect this pink hue. And not only that, something that always matches the color of these dorsals is Godzilla's atomic breath, which also happens to be, you guessed it, pink. Or magenta. Note how we haven't seen how this pink atomic breath reacts upon hitting the target, but it's likely that it will produce a different type of destructive damage. Is it hotter than the blue? Well, it's hard to tell. Note that blue-colored flames are one of the hottest, if not the hottest, in the temperature spectrum. Magenta isn't really found here at all, but looking at the RGB color spectrum, we find that this color is the combination of red and blue, the hottest and the least hottest of these, making the effects of the new atomic ray a mystery. And definitely up for grabs in this cinematic universe. So it may or may not be more powerful than Godzilla's blue atomic breath. Back to this clip, we find that this color is not exclusively found in crystals, but in forms of energy that take some sort of organic form as seen here, almost looking like veins of some sort serving as conduits for this energy. Yes, this stuff is probably an extremely strange form of energy that humanity doesn't understand. And perhaps the world is better off leaving this energy to be wielded by just Titans and not humanity. Which brings up the question, is Godzilla the only one wielding this new form of energy? Our best guess, probably not, and here's why. Now that we kind of have a good theory of why Godzilla turned pink, we need to think of the purpose behind this evolution. Note that this said more powerful form is probably a response to something that happened before this evolved state. Before, Godzilla used to glow blue, wielding energy that was probably surpassed by another foe. That's right, something or someone caused Godzilla to go take a nap and evolve. Perhaps someone who is also wielding this power. Who? Well, it's common knowledge by now that Scar King isn't going to be the only big kaiju around here causing problems. There is some cave art floating around originally found in Call of Duty's Warzone Godzilla vs. Kong event showcasing this creature, who was confirmed to be also appearing in Godzilla Kong. This animal of seemingly colossal proportions features what seems to be crystallized formations along its dorsal plates, possibly wielding an energy form that was able to best Godzilla's power, forcing the G-Man to then try to acquire this same energy to even things out. If true, we are seeing Godzilla become more powerful out of necessity and not just because. We'll cover this additional titan in more depth in a future episode. Subscribe to not miss it. This new energy that we are introduced to did a lot more than just make Godzilla glow pink. The absorption of this energy came with more interesting side effects. That's right, legendary Godzilla is seen to wake up with a few relative upgrades, if you can call them that. Godzilla is now seen to be a lot more leaner, especially from the abdominal area and thighs. The advantages of this evolution are the following. Less weight to move around, allowing Godzilla to run even faster than before. This does look a bit bizarre, but makes some sense given that these new, less heavy appendages do allow Godzilla to lift his knees higher and make much longer and faster strides, making him much faster than when he charged Ghidorah in King of the Monsters. The disadvantages of being leaner would be the possibility of being lightweight. This weight disadvantage would be offset if Godzilla grew much taller, but this doesn't exactly seem to be the case. However, one indisputable upgrade is the presence of longer, more muscular armature. Godzilla isn't too bad at using his forelimbs for combat, in fact he's actually pretty good. But now, in this film, he'll not only have better reach, but also be able to use them as an extra point of stability. Longer arms such as these would easily allow him to take a more effective quadrupedal stance, allowing him to stand up faster, crawl, or even climb. We can expect Godzilla to be an even more fearsome combatant thanks to this new design. Frankly, this was actually required for Godzilla, since Scar King will most likely be a strong and agile combatant. The new Titan? In some cases, it also helps a lot if you're much more agile than the big, heavy opponent. Godzilla has one last set of upgrades courtesy of his last evolutionary nap. If we look closely, we'll see that Godzilla evolved to have more thorny skin, most notably on the brows. These glowing formations were not there before, making him look more fearsome. Additionally, another spiky upgrade seems to be on the tail. If Godzilla's tail wasn't already OP, capable of flooring 121,000-ton kaijus with one swipe, this tail is now armed with thagomizers, a total of 4 to 6 dorsal plates that appear on the tips of this tail. Anything on the receiving end of this will have to endure the entire force of this tail on these smaller tips, making this a potentially lethal weapon that can kill with one well-placed hit. We've seen what a supercharged dorsal can do. Now imagine what a dorsal packed with centrifugal force, high temperatures, and sharp tips can do. Death is found on the end of this tail. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss the next breakdown, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.